Director, and she will be moderating this wonderful session, and it's been a privilege to help you working on the preparations together with a constellation of partners. This is only the beginning. This network of entrepreneurs and these activities should be replicated, so you know that you have the Global Innovation Hub and the partners that we have within this community at your disposal. And we would like to learn more about the winners. Very excited to know more about the winners and take them forward as part of our work program to COP28 and beyond. Thank you and welcome, Anne. You have the podium.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, welcome all to the prize ceremony of Hack for Earth Youth Hackathon at COP27.
We cannot wait. The world needs real action on climate change now. Join Hack for Earth Youth Hackathon at the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP27 and create real solutions for our planet. Transport, agriculture, energy, smart cities, biodiversity, natural resources management, sustainable digital solutions. Compete to win and present your solution to world leaders at the United Nations Climate Conference COP27 in Egypt and join the Build for Earth Acceleration Program designed to make your solution a reality. This is how youth will create real action on climate change. Let's hack for a sustainable future. Let's hack for Earth.
Yes, again, a warm welcome to the prize ceremony of the Hack for Earth Youth Hackathon at COP27. Yes. Yes, so my name is Molin and I'm the Secretary General of the Hack for Earth Foundation. And we invite people from all over the world to create real solutions to the Sustainable Development Goals by organizing hackathons. And hackathons are innovation competitions. So, yes, that's me. Next slide. Yes. So for the Hack for Earth Youth Hackathon at COP27, we invited youth between 16 and 35 from the entire world together with our partner organizations. And these are all the countries that are represented in Hack for Earth Youth Hackathon. As you can see, there's not many white spots on that map. So this is truly a global effort from the youth of the world, creating real solutions to climate change. And these are our challenges, because in every hackathon you have to have challenges, because what are you going to hack on? Because that's what you do. You find a challenge and you try to solve it. So these are the 7, and we created them together with our partner organizations. So it's transport, agriculture, biodiversity, smart cities, energy, natural resources management, and sustainable digital solutions. So we had participants from 125 countries, 1,864 teams, 100 mentors, and 7 challenges in this hackathon that took place during 48 hours last week. And of course, there has to be a very good jury to decide who are going to win in a hackathon. So, since we are all about diversity, sustainability, and impact, we had to have a really diverse jury. So in our jury, of course, we have director generals, we have CEOs, world leaders, but we also have previous hackathon winners who know what it takes to create a real solution from a very good idea. So that's our way of creating citizen-driven innovation. Yes. And you also had to have jury criteria. These are our 6 jury criteria, and as you can see, diversity is highlighted, and that's because we really believe that collaboration between countries and individuals and society is vital for us to find solutions to the SDGs and, of course, climate change. So diversity in the teams was a very important factor. Of course, there were other jury criteria like comprehensibility, realizability, innovativeness, scalability, and solving the SDGs, and in this case, mostly climate change. So this is what the jury had to look at. So, with us today, we have a panel of world leaders who will be giving feedback to the winners on their solutions. Because we have the winners waiting. No one knows who has won yet. So there's 1,864 teams out there who are really nervous right now and wondering if they won. And one of the things that they win in this hackathon is the possibility to pitch their solution to this panel and get feedback. The other thing they win is a spot in our acceleration program, Build for Earth. More about that later. So, next. Yes. Actually, I think we're going to take up our panel, those of you who are here. So could we see the previous slide again, please? Thank you. Because some of our panelists are joining virtually and some are here in person. And first out, we have Massamba, who is with the World Bank Group, manager of 2022 and 2023 Youth Summit. And she's joining us online. We will see her later. And after that, we have Hira, Hafeez-UR-Rehman, who is joining us here. Please welcome up. You are Strategic Innovation, Digital Development, Youth and Community Engagement with UNICEF. Please, a warm welcome to you. We give her an applause. Welcome, thank you. And then we have David Jensen, who is the coordinator of the UNEP Digital Transformation Program at UNEP. He is also joining us virtually. We will get to meet him later. And joining us in person is also Bernhard Kowatsch, who is head of World Food Program Innovation Accelerator. Welcome. An applause for you too. Yes, with the UN World Food Program, of course. And we have also Ahmed Fathy joining us in person, founder of the Youth Loves Egypt Foundation. Welcome up. And an applause for Ahmed too. Thank you. Great to have you here. We also have the UN Secretary General's Youth Climate Advisor, Mr. Vladislav Kaim, joining us live from the United Nations. Thank you. An applause for you too. Great to have you here. And last but not least, we have Tremeur Denigot, who is the European education expert with the European Commission, joining us virtually. So, are you ready? Really? Are you ready? Are you ready to see the winners? Yeah. Yes, definitely. Let's go. So, for the winners' announcement. this is the way we're going to do this. You will see the winning teams pitch to you here on the screen, and two of the panelists will give feedback. So we start with the first challenge winner, and that is the challenge winner in smart cities. And the winner of the challenge smart cities is clean air. With, yes, an applause for clean air. And clean air, they have team members from Kenya, Denmark, and South Africa. And we are going to see their pitch now.
Hello, my name is Purity Christine and I'm from Kenya. We're here to present our project, Clean Air.
My name is Charlotte, I'm from Denmark. We consist of a team, 6 people, 2 women, 4 men from 3 different countries, and in the age range between 22 and 34. Our competences include data and system analysis, software development, machine learning, UI, UX design, communication, and project management. In Nairobi, we suggest a smart city project. Smart cities are data-driven cities where technology makes cities more livable for people.
Many cities in the world suffer from poor air quality. One of them is Nairobi, the capital city of my country, Kenya. Nairobi is our home, but we are facing several challenges such as heavy road traffic on a daily basis, overpopulation, and congestion. A lot of combustion of waste is taking place within the city, and it is affecting us due to the high CO2 emissions and other pollutants. Our city's microclimate is changing. Strong heat waves, drought, and food insecurity due to the greenhouse effect. We need our policymakers to step up and address the factors contributing to this climate change.
Therefore, we propose an app and a website where policymakers can commit to improving air quality by planting vegetation and make infrastructure changes. All of this is based on sensor IoT data about CO2 emissions and other data. For instance, a policymaker can commit to planting vegetation, and AI will ensure that there are no copies of these commitments made by other policymakers. There are already new sensors out there, but we're also interested in making new open source sensors when necessary.
We focus on policymakers as primary users because they have the power to make large-scale changes. If implemented correctly, our solution will not only create commitment from policymakers to mitigate climate change and improve air quality, but it will also make transparency in democracy and make livable cities with more vegetation, better garbage disposal, and better infrastructure. The app has a news feed feature where both politicians and other citizens can track the progress of the commitments made towards climate action. And locals can also vote for suggested changes to help the politicians to justify their measures. Our solution addresses the SDG goals number 3, 11, and 13 on good health, sustainable cities, and climate action.
We're interested in making open source sensors, but also in making collaborations with Open Data Africa, with Safari Network, and the NGO Purple Air. We're going to suggest a pilot for a small group of policymakers where we can test how this works for them before we initiate production and initiate a bigger marketing campaign. Thank you very much.
Yes, and now we will hear some feedback on the solution from our panelists. And we will start with O'Neill Massamba, who is the manager 2022 and 2023 Youth Summit with the World Bank Group. Can you hear me, O'Neill? technology. We're working on it. Not working. Okay, so the tech team is working on it. We'll give it a few minutes to get it working, to get Massamba from New York and the World Bank to join us. Okay, my tech team is saying they have some continued issues with the connection with our virtual panelists. So, unfortunately, we will have to go to the next one and see if we can get the virtual participants with us at a later time. I see frantic work in the tech box right now.
I mean, do you want us to give feedback live, or
Say again?
you want us to give feedback live also? I mean, do this.
We
in the
haven't
interim.
prepared you for that, but if you feel you are up to it, that would be great. Yeah,
I mean,
please do.
why don't we do that? Like, no, and I have to say, like, congratulations to the clean air team. Like, so, like, I have to say, it's really exciting, and congratulations for winning the category. I have to say, seeing also a diverse team from different countries. What is cool is that, and I think where they're right now starting is like they've chosen a very, very complex topic where they need lots of different input factors, right? Like climate input, lots of different stakeholders, actually getting the data there. Now, I think if I had to give them any advice, it's probably like, can they actually work on some, like, what is the first version of a solution that they're going to be working on? Because it's like the vision that they've put out there is, I think, very bold and it's very cool. So I think the next step is going to be like, what is going to be the first version of the solution that they're going to come up with, and that they can actually start testing. Do they have the data? Who is the decision maker? Who is using the solution? But like, kudos, congratulations to the team.
Thank you for that spontaneous remark. Thank you so much. I see now that our virtual participants are moving on the screen, which is good. Can you hear me? They can hear us, perfect. So, then please, Massamba, or could you please give your feedback to the team?
Sorry, yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay, perfect. I think I got too excited and probably interfered with the audio and the visual. But yeah, no, I think that they did an excellent presentation. I really wanted to commend them on that because I really think that it shows that they have a real understanding of what can be done to address climate change and really foster green, resilient, and inclusive development, which are things we cherish as part of the World Bank Group. And indeed, I think that introducing relevant reforms and policies play a key role in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And in order to do that, you need to have solid data that helps assess the relevancy of the reform that you implement. So I think that this project is really, really interesting. But what we see in practice is that the recommendations are not sufficient. We really have to convince government to pass the reform, to introduce the policies and implement them, and then ensure that we produce the necessary effect. So I think that it would also be interesting to develop and maybe further explore how the data collected in this project can really give incentive to government to introduce specific reform and have a mechanism to monitor them better, the reforms that are implemented, which fits within that goal of transparency that they mentioned. I also think that it would be really interesting to look at climate financing. because you mentioned different sustainable development goals, and one of them is the Sustainable Development Goal 13, which is taking urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. And one way to do that is to transition to a low carbon future and avoid warming exceeding 1.5 degrees Celsius. And there was actually a study from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that estimated that 1.6 trillion to $3.8 trillion needed to be invested each year through 2050 to achieve these goals. So I think that using this data to see how we can leverage investments through the private sector and other global actors would also be really interesting. But other than that, like, it's an amazing job. Well done.
Thank you so much, O'Neill Massamba of the World Bank Group, for that. And we will make sure that the team brings this with them into the Build for Earth Acceleration Program. Thank you. And we move to David Jensen.
Great, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you very, very much. Just a few quick points. I mean, as was mentioned, I thought the diversity of the team and the emotional appeal of the pitch was excellent. It really resonated with me. I really felt the problem and felt the emotion, which I think is good. The use of data and visualization tools to show the problem to policymakers was excellent. And using digital tools to really drive transparency in policymaking, I think is fantastic. So wonderful. I think as the team takes this into the next step, I actually had sort of a couple points. One, I think policymakers is a great target audience, but I also think we might want to look at, or you might want to look at citizens, because a lot of the data you're collecting could actually drive citizen behavior. It could help citizens understand risks and immediate behaviors that they could take to mitigate those risks to themselves. So I think you may need to look at both policymakers and citizens and decide which is the right target audience. The second thing I think you're going to be really challenged with is this whole question of monitoring the impact and getting real-time feedback loops to make sure that either the policies are effective or the behaviors are effective. So really thinking through that feedback loop process, I think, is going to be essential. And then the final issue you're going to have to look at is the business model, right? How are we going to pay for this in the long term? And are there ways to generate potential revenue from this service? And this is why I think maybe you might want to look at citizens, because you could potentially identify the risk, identify a behavior that could be adopted, and then bring in private sector companies that could actually help mitigate that risk. Let's say, for example, through air quality technology or other kinds of technology. So there may be a way of bringing in a business model on the back end which would help you pay for it. Final point, as you take this forward, UNEP has a major collaboration with a company called IQ Air. We have a global network of air quality sensors. It's 20,000 real-time sensors. I would love to see if you could harness some of that data in this solution, because we'd love to find a partnership with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David, for that feedback. We will make sure the team brings it with them into the Build for Earth Acceleration Program. And now we go to the next challenge winner, which is in the challenge agriculture. And the challenge winner in agriculture is Agrotech Plus, with team members from Kenya, Switzerland, Tanzania, and Germany. Congratulations to you. And let's see their pitch.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Sharon Chacha, and let me give you my story. I grew up on a farm in a Kenyan village with my mother, who was a smallholder tomato farmer. We worked really hard, but our joy was dimmed during the pre and post harvest of our fresh tomatoes. Why? Because we did not have access to technologies for cold storage facilities for these highly perishable food crops. My mother and I had no choice but to sell these tomatoes at low farm gate prices to any buyer to minimize the losses, or she'd not even sell at all. I know if my mother had access to mechanized technologies, her profits would double and she would be able to pay her school fees and take care of the family. According to FAO, 1.3 billion tons of food is lost annually. This is equivalent to 10% of the global greenhouse gases emitted. For smallholder farmers, this is 40% loss of the harvests produced and 25% loss in revenue. This problem inspired us to start Agrotech Plus Fresh. Our innovation is a solar-powered cold storage preservation technology that extends the shelf life of perishable produce from the usual 5-day period to 21 period, while reducing up to 1,000 tons of CO2 emissions per year. With only charging 0.5 USD per night per crate, we are able to not only help the farmers minimize food waste, but also reduce 1,000 tons of carbon dioxide emitted from food loss.
Our project, we are projecting to impact 30,000 smallholder farmers in the next 2 years, whereby 50% of these are rural smallholder farmers who are women. We are at the same time looking forward to cut off 1,000 tons of carbon dioxide emitted to the air. Our potential market is in the sub-Saharan Africa, whereby 123 million metric tons of food is lost and 5 million metric tons of food is wasted. We are here looking forward to raise $1 million, whereby we use it to deploy 20 solar-powered cold storages across high-potential areas of Kenya. This has been a success by the great team with diverse experience, whereby we have 3 core teams, where we have one of the team is a lady with diverse and great experience in agricultural engineering, agricultural technology, and I, Elisha Caleb, with great experience in software development, and Grace Hater with a great experience in electronic engineering. At the same time, Agrotech Plus has a board in global range from Switzerland and Tanzania with diverse experience of great importance to Agrotech Plus development. Thank you very much.
Let's hear the feedback. Thank you. Bernhard, you can start.
Okay, you can bring. Let me start. So first of all, I want to. Hello? Yeah. First of all, I want to say great pitch is like, so well done. I think it's one of those topics that is often overlooked in the climate conversation, where it's like, you know, 1/3 of the world's greenhouse gases are coming from agriculture or related like supply chain. So like all the food we're producing, you know, that's actually going to waste. Like imagine like how nonsensical all of it is. Now the solution that you've hacked together is like, I think it's great. I like what you're doing, and like also that you already have a plan, and like, you know, like the ideas of where you're going to pilot this. There's a couple of startups out there that have tried similar things in different ways before. Some of them have been more successful, not in Kenya necessarily. So there is a need for that solution. There's the need for this type of thing. And I just want to say, as much as you can, if this is a sustainable business and you're actually committed to do this, keep on doing that. It's so inspiring to see, you know, like young people taking action to say like, I want to make a difference. I want to work with the farmers, which is oftentimes seen as not the sexy solution. But like, you know, there's technology, this can scale, it can have a big impact. So very well done.
Thank you so much. And let's hear from the second panelist and that's O'Neill Massamba of the World Bank Group.
Led to this project. I think it's really interesting. I also think that it's amazing that they decided to look into food waste to tackle climate change, which is a perspective that we don't see quite often. Yet, as was said before, food waste also participates in the climate change crisis with significant greenhouse gas emission and so on. So I think it's really interesting that we tackled that. I was just curious because of the system on how much energy the solar panel generates and how long they can support the cold storage system. But I think that the main thing I would like to focus on is in terms of access, because the target of of this project is the rural communities, and we've seen, and the fact that this project relies on technology and the use of a mobile app, and we've seen that in rural communities, sometimes in developing countries, there is an issue of digital literacy, and you will often find finders that wouldn't be able to use such technology. So what I would be interested to see, and maybe if they haven't addressed that yet, that would be interesting to explore, that is how they can support and guide the person who lacks digital literacy to use this application, and otherwise if they provide them alternatives to access and use the services. Because
I'm really sorry, I have to cut you off there because we're running late.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I think I covered most of the topic, but it was just about inclusion and making sure that it's accessible to all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. And moving forward to the winner in the challenge transport. And the transport challenge winner is Green Vasalny, with team members from Egypt here. And here is their video, their pitch.
Which is a major polluter. In 2021, it's produced approximately 7.3 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide. These graphs showing that 17% from transportation share of global GHG emissions. 7.29 gigaton carbon dioxide. Let's do great things together to solve this problem. Our approach to solutions, let's find a solution for this problem from emissions coming from transportation by innovations, creativity, adaptability, sustainable, and emission reduction. We have a team from Egypt and Kenya. We all connect together to make brainstorming to find solution to transportation carbon emissions. Our solution is innovative solutions, which is it's a way to visualization of supply chain transportation cycle. It's measures the distance and its navigation system. It's very easy using set route options to real-time traffic data, location sharing to be easy for the managers and operators, drive mode, which is we can work offline, that analysis for the post-trip analysis, and carbon emission reduction, which is our goal at the end. We reach to SDG goals number 8, decent work and economic growth. SDG number 9, industrial innovations, by making this one applicable for all the operators and drivers. Sustainable cities, to be reducing the traffic rush and jam. And last is the SDG number 13, climate action, which we need to reduce emissions coming from. Our steps for implementations is application development through our team and our support by studying this one, and testing the applications through different developers. And last is deployment and support of the operators and companies through ERP system for these companies. Our diverse teams, Khalid and me, Joseph from Kenya, Nada from Egypt, Omnia from Egypt, Ahmed from Egypt also. Thanks so much. I hope you reach something good.
So at Greenhouse Learning, we're using technology 4.0 to bring a revolution in the transport sector. Greenhouse Learning is a platform that will have automated data gathering process that will take process of the ongoing global trends and machine learning models to predict the various options. As my friend Ahmed said, we have a diverse team, and our team involves marketers, engineers, supply chain managers, and technical coding experts. We have thought this through, and then in the implementation, we have a plan to do the product development, marketing, and operation costs in our budget breakdown, and you're going to be breaking even within the year 2 of operation. Thank you so much.
First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the team on an amazing idea and a quite feasible pathway to its implementation. The intersection of green and digital manifests itself with the greatest potential and addresses the greatest bottlenecks in precisely this area of logistics, especially when we take on such a thoroughly difficult issue as the decarbonization of truck transport and goods logistics. What I am looking for from the team coming further is first and foremost to watch your backs, because in terms of the competitors analysis, for this track has been already pursued on other parts of the world, and you will need to be very sharp in terms of your value proposition against the entrants that are already established in other continents who might come to the Middle East and North Africa. And you will need to be ready to immediately prove that your solution is the most localized one, and at the same time the most cutting edge one, and makes the most sense and brings the greatest value to the customer. As I see it right now, you have a great potential to do that. So my only advice in terms of improvement and constructive critique would be stay sharp, stay aware of your competitors, and always watch the landscape. It might inspire you for something more as well.
Thank you. Stay sharp. We take that with us, definitely. And let's hear from Ahmed, Fathy.
Okay. Thank you, and congratulations for my colleagues from Egypt for this great initiative. As we can see, green transportation with country with more than 100 million population. So it's important to have low carbon emission in our country with the technology. My colleague Vlad have say a lot of good things for them. So I will go direct for my advice. My advice, look before to the other applications for transportation, like Uber and something. See the mistakes they have fell in and try to follow that. This is the first thing. Second, try in your next presentation for pitches to tell the committee or the judges what you want. You say here you have the app, you have the development and something. What's the amount of money you need, how much, when, how, and how you will spend this money to have the business model complete. And congratulations again for this great initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And then we move to the next challenge winner, and that is the challenge winner in Biodiversity Challenge. And the winners are EvolveNet, and they have team members from Colombia, Brazil, and Uganda. So let's see their pitch.
And we wanted to start this presentation by stating some key facts. There are 7 sea turtle species in the world, and nearly all of them are endangered. More than 17 million metric tons of plastic entered the ocean in 2021. Also, bycatch and hunting have contributed to the decrease in sea turtle population. And climate change impacts sea turtle population as well, because, for example, changing sand temperatures affect male and female sea turtle ratios. So human activity is the main threat. So we will take real action, and that is what data is for. So our solution uses data to drive real action and encourage policymaking. Our project is a scalable and cost-effective solution that targets sea turtle species risk factors using artificial intelligence and providing policy recommendations based on open metadata.
We have targeted a couple of key factors that we are depicting below. The first one is the plastic, and the second one is the oil contamination. The third one is the nest threats and the global warming, and the fourth are the fisheries bycatch. In this case, we have designed an artificial intelligence software that is able to identify these respective factors. We have called this EvolveNet. And basically, EvolveNet combines spatiotemporally aligned satellite imagery with turtle metadata and the identified factors. Then it outputs a risk hotspot map through our dashboard in real time using cloud services. And finally, it provides policy recommendations for each predicted factor. What does it make unique? Basically, a direct implementation between data and policymaking, because we are connecting artificial intelligence with a recommendation system. Secondly, it is low cost because we are using open source data coming up from some of our stakeholders we will show later. and also open free artificial intelligence neural networks. It is scalable. If we have available data for other types of species, we can also extend it to other types of animals. And finally, it can be quickly be prototyped, so we can actually develop this within less than 3 months. Finally, our financial resources are based on 3 different pillars. So first of all, a crowdfunding campaign using Facebook. Secondly, a service marketplace that we have designed to be on-demand in hourly or monthly plans. And finally, based on our stakeholders. So this is encompassed by governments, NGOs, and private sectors. So our team is a very diverse team from 3 developing countries members, 4 young and curious people, a journalist and digital content generator, and our marketing strategist, a data scientist and web developer, a UX and UI designer, and artificial intelligence that is going to be working on our solution. We think there is no better place and time to present our solution than right now during COP27, because we strongly believe that AI can help to save the sea turtles. Let's solve it now with involvement.
Okay, so let's hear from our first panelist, Tremeur Denigot from the European Commission. And can I please ask our panelists to give brief feedback, because we are unfortunately running out of time. So just a brief feedback. Thank you.
So I'll try to be short. Congratulations really for that very nice project. I think it's very important you focus on biodiversity. I just wanted to share the fact that unfortunately sometimes it's not the high profile project at policy level, wrongly. Endangered species in particular need really actions and protection for sure. So I mean, you also focus very much on the approach of science-based policy. So of course that's only from my ears and coming from the scientific department of the European Commission, and we strongly believe in that. Just one maybe a suggestion. I was thinking about what David was saying before. It's true that if you want to raise the attention of policymakers, it's very good to think also about the communication campaign you will have to accompany that, because if you really want to raise the interest of the policymakers, to be sure that they will move, it's much better when you come with very strong partners coming from the civil society, citizens. And I'm thinking in particular about, in your case, the education community, because I'm sure that you could have a lot of support coming from the education community. Turtles, it's a wonderful topic, really. Congratulations again. And maybe we could give you a hand with the Education for Climate Coalition. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Denigot Tremeur, for that. And let's hear from Hira, who is here. Thank you.
Well, it's a really very novel idea and pretty exciting, you know, given that we have species such as turtles being extinct. I think my quick feedback here would be that when they've listed a lot of risk factors, where a lot of them, for instance, plastic or oil, focuses on distribution. Perhaps also focus on other factors like, you know, oil spilling, plastic spilling, and pollution, all of that. So I think do consider the additional factors as well. And I'm not really sure if it's a global solution, but if it is, then perhaps, you know, the various geographic factors should also be taken account, whether it's in the Pacific, whether it's in whether it's somewhere else. And lastly, what I'll do is, you know, data is king. Data is fantastic to have, but I think when they're in the acceleration program, one model is, of course, you know, the tech itself. But then if you don't have users of the data, then, you know, it doesn't really, all this effort is meaningless. So I think when they create data analysis for policymakers, they should include citizens as well, because they should know what's going on. But it should be easy to read, easy for them to interpret, so that with all the stakeholders that stakeholders.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off there because we're running out of time. Thank you so much for that. And we are moving on to the next challenge winner, which is the winner in the challenge Energy. And the winner in the Energy Challenge is the battery with team members from Singapore, Malaysia. So here is their pitch.
Have you wondered how we can store the solar energy generated in the day so that we can use it at night? Batteries, that's right. And we are talking about the batteries in your electric vehicle. We bring to you the battery, a solution to power darkness with solar-charged electric vehicles. We believe in a future where we rely purely on energy generated from solar power. The blue lines show the current energy production levels, and this is what the solar energy gives us. We see a peak in solar electricity generation in midday. However, the well-known problem of the dark curve exists. In the midday, solar energy production ramps up and there is a dip in demand for coal energy. This presents a problem for the current energy production and calls for a solution that optimizes the supply and demand gap with alternative energy sources. We want to reduce our reliance on energy produced by coal to reduce carbon emission by distributing the surplus energy to the rest of the day when we actually need it.
Tackling the problem, we introduced the battery, a democratized data-driven solution that encourages electric vehicle owners to plug in their vehicles to the smart grid. Based on the analysis of electric vehicle usage data, excess energy from solar power generated at homes can be stored in electric vehicles as batteries and rerouted back to homes or to the grid to be used when solar power generation is zero. As a result, excess solar energy generated will not go to waste and can be used to supplement power grid at night when solar power generation is low. As a start, we focus specifically on homes first. In order to better understand the solution in a small scale, we will begin by creating an online simulation with the use of car usage data. We also hope to showcase the benefits of such solutions to car owners and push for bi-directional charging capabilities and push for more electric vehicles as a result. In terms of timeline, we start with collecting data for an online simulation for homes within 3 months, followed by a test run in individual homes within 6 months, and the next 24 months, our first rollout for the battery. Afterwards, we also envision scaling to office workplaces as a possible next step. There are some roadblocks that we need to consider. Firstly, different countries have different legal frameworks as well as power requirements in relation with integrating the battery to power grids within homes. We also need to consider how the battery can complement current electric supply companies. Once we overcome such roadblocks, the battery will close the energy demand supply gap at a faster rate. And bringing this idea forward is a group of students coming from Malaysia and Singapore who are passionate in tackling big problems and noticed there was a severe urgency to reduce the reliance on fossil fuels. So join us. With the battery, we hope to create a future where society can rely purely on energy generated from solar power while addressing the sustainable development goals. Thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank you for that, the battery. And now let's hear from our panelists. Let's start with Vladislav.
Yeah, really quick. So it is a wonderful combination of addressing supply and demand. And it is also, in a sense, a new take on the problem that is already been quite on many people's minds and represents a significant bottleneck in decarbonizing our cities for quite a significant while. In terms of challenges and coming further, I think the guys themselves did a great job on being honest about landscaping this background. And the main elephant in the room for them, based on the challenges that they themselves said they're going to be facing, is scalability. It's a very fragmented market.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, because of the time, congratulations for the team. And I see it is very important initiative for the battery. And I saw in them models that they take up much time for preparing. And this is very good because if they can study and they make them researches, they will success. And this kind of initiatives that we need in the future because it makes our life better. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, thank you. And then we are moving to the next challenge winner in the Natural Resources Management category. And the winner in the Natural Resources Management category is Wiper Transformation with team members from Egypt. And here is their pitch.
Hello everyone. This is me, Abdurrahman Salam from our team. We are a scientific transformation entity working in the field of resources conversion and innovation. So the last couple of years, doing our operational work, trying to help 350 families who live under the poverty line within our Egypt. We had an idea to take advantage of the most available raw material in the area. Upper Egypt, as we know, produces about 15 million tons of cellulosic waste annually that gets burned or reused, which won't solve the problem of material degradation or environmental pollution. And this is exactly when we studied the biochemical characteristics of every raw material we could reach in the lab. And with 12 experiment trials and with more than 1,000 hours of work, we could finally produce a cellulose powder from a zero-cost and zero-waste palm leaves, which had the potential to be transformed into fibers using chemical treatment and bioproduction. Then we take the granules to produce paper products and clean wipes using locally manufactured, reverse-engineered wood laid and hydro-entanglement technologies, which makes our product fully degradable, eco-friendly, and body-friendly too. So, last June, we had our MVP tested, and the results were extremely satisfying, with more than 85% of purity. We're also expecting to have a material high-quality product in 3 months of work, to be distributed locally into hospitals, pharmacies, restaurants, and even for personal uses. After upscaling our production in the future, we're planning to help Samaha female citizens to reach financial dependency by operating 2 initial main production hubs to manufacture wipes and recycle more than 12 tons of palm leaves monthly to avoid burning actions and decrease environmental pollution rates. Plus, of course, increasing families' income from 800 Egyptian pounds to 15,000 Egyptian pounds per month. And eventually, and everything goes according to the plan, we'll be achieving 6 SDGs and additionally making about $1 million annually. Acting as one team for balanced souls and various experiences in science, agriculture, research, data, and business. This is just us today presenting everyone with genuine intentions to change and create it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now let's hear from our panelists, and let's try to keep it short.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
I'll keep it short. Like, so the great pitch, very relevant. It's actually a big contributor to climate change, because it's like the farm waste that you've been seeing is being burned because the smaller farmers cannot make money. So like, it's a great solution. I suspect you didn't come up with it in the last 48 hours in a hackathon only, as you were saying, but it's a great solution. So like, I think what is going to be interesting, to what extent smallholder farmers really are going to be willing to actually engage with this. And I would probably focus on that in the first place, so like whether you can actually make this sustainable as a business model, because that will be the make or break for the business model. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernhard. And now, our next panelist. Thank you. Can you hear us? Okay, we're moving to the next one. Unfortunately, we don't have the virtual ones with us. Going to the next challenge winner in Sustainable Digital Solutions. And the winner in Sustainable Digital Solutions is Small, Small, Big, with a team from UK, USA, and Mexico. Let's hear their pitch.
Hello, we'd like to introduce ourselves. We're a team of small but mighty minds, and we believe small actions lead to big changes that make a world of difference. We're making small matter from across the world. Meet our team. I'm Rachel from London.
Karina from Mexico.
Fletcher from Chicago, joined by our friend Emma from LA.
Sophie from London.
And Zada from Milan. So what do? We understand sustainability is a challenge so big that it feels completely overwhelming and unapproachable, especially when you realize your individual impact can only go so far.
Our background as a team in brand transformation, so we know all about positioning companies and changing their perceptions in the market. We have a diverse skill set from designers, strategists, engineers, storytellers, and project managers. So when we started mulling over this as a team, coming from this background, we realized that the biggest hack wasn't going to be a new piece of technology or innovation.
The biggest hack was going to be completely repositioning the perception of climate change as something in our control as individuals, not out of it. Breaking down sustainability into a series of approachable steps. Instead of going for a big, grand solution, we knew we had to start super small.
So we created the concept small, small, big to be an open source archive of the smallest things you can do every day to fight climate change and be more sustainable, driven by data, to actually drive a ton of individuals to take one action that adds up. We wanted to focus on one super small, super attainable, but super unexpected action that's easy to do in 3 minutes or less and makes the invisible impact visible. Deleting emails. Because that action might seem super small on the part of one person. But we're making it so approachable to take action that it won't just be that one person. It could be millions, and those actions really add up. Data from Greenpeace shows that worldwide, data centers use 382 billion kilowatt hours of energy per day.
And if we get 1% of people who use their email to delete their archives based on emissions data and a survey of spam by McAfee, we'll save enough energy to power millions of homes every single year.
And that action is only the beginning. If we could get millions to take that small action, there's really nothing we can solve together. Even something as massive as making the future of a digital world fully sustainable.
So while we've been busy chatting in these 3 minutes, we could have got each 3 of our friends to delete approximately 1,000 emails. That's 18,000 emails in total and 72,000 pounds of CO2 equivalent saved.
Okay, so please let's hear from Hira very short before we have to end this, unfortunately, very quick. Thank you.
Sure, very quickly. I think there's a huge demand for an initiatives like this because young people want to take action, right? So it's good. As they evolve it in the acceleration program, the task focuses on, emails, deleting emails. Could they potentially add more tasks like switching off lights, all of that? This solution is heavily tech focused. So they also should consider, forecast that whether a solution like this could sustain, rapidly changing tech solutions, all of that. And lastly, how do you encourage people to take an action? So is there a business model behind it? So they should focus on that in the program as well.
Thank you so much for that. And with that, unfortunately, we have to end this a little bit earlier than we thought. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and thanks to all our panelists and all of our winning teams. You can see more of this in the YouTube channel. And thank you so much. I would actually love my team to come up and say goodbye with everyone. Mustafa and Lube, please come up here. So this is for all the winners. Please, Ole. So congratulations to all of the winners, and thank you for the best team in the world. Yes. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.